There are three main things I think are different about 2020 from 2016. One is Biden's not just consistent lead in the polls, but it's a little bit wider than Clinton's lead was. In several polls, he's over 50%, which Clinton almost never attained in 2016. The other thing that I would say is a little bit less technical, which is that the circumstances have changed. Trump did very well with people who decided late, with undecided voters. But things like the lean of independent voters suggest that that's not necessarily going to be the case now. One of the things that happened in 2016 was there was probably systematic undercounting of people without college degrees. They were under-contacted. I think there have been some efforts on both ends to try and account for the fact that that white voters without college degrees were not polled at the same rate as other groups of voters, and that may have been part of the reason that some of those state polls were so far off in 2016. The numbers of early voting so far in 2020 are quite high compared with past years. We don't really know if these higher numbers of early voting returns compared with past years are indicative of higher voter turnout, or all they show us is that more people are planning to vote early. The other indicator I would pay attention to is the high levels of interest in this election and people having a strong perception that the winner really matters and that the stakes are very high. And that often drives turnout as well. But we should be really careful in how we interpret the numbers in terms of the early voting. Typically, the Democrats benefit from higher turnout if that happens, because Democrats depend more on groups of voters who tend to be less likely to turn out. So various racial minority groups in the United States, including Latino voters, younger voters, people with less money, lower incomes. Republicans tend to have a constituency that is older, is more likely to be white, is more likely to be high income, and those are more kind of frequent voters. The real swing area in the United States is getting a lot of attention from both campaigns is the suburbs. One of the states that's shaping up to be a number one battleground is Pennsylvania. This is a state that has several large cities that tend to be more democratic, but also a lot of rural areas. It was a really pivotal state in 2016. The other big battleground, as always, is Florida. Florida is almost always very close, and it almost always votes with the winner. You do see Trump campaigning quite a bit, where he did well in 2016. In Wisconsin, where I'm talking to you from, in Michigan, and in Minnesota, where he didn't win in 2016 but was very close. They very much are aware that they're behind, and you do see that in their campaign activity.